Welcome, everyone, to the March edition of Conversations with Archbishop Kurtz. It's March already.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's not going to be our edition of March Madness, but rather of the Lenten season, getting us ready for Easter.
Around here, basketball and fish fries.
Exactly,
All right.
exactly.
Now, we have a great show, as always. We're going to have a number of things. For this first segment, we're going to talk about some local developments, nationally and locally, and even internationally, I suppose, a little bit here in the first segment. Second segment, you have two guests who are going to come in who are chairs of parish councils in our diocese. You'll meet them. And the third segment, we're going to talk about the Holy Father's exhortation. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. Let's start.
Sure.
There's a lot of planning going on in the Archdiocese. We often have been using that language, and I know it's part of our history. You know, we will go back 30 years, straight years, we've had a regular process of preparing a strategic plan. Right. Now, we have smaller plans. This winter, we've been working on a Hispanic plan, a Catholic Charities plan, a youth ministry plan, and we'll be talking about those things in other segments. But the big thing right now is writing a strategic plan, which is something that kind of guides the work of all the offices and influences what goes on in parish life. Tell me a little bit about your sense of strategic planning in the Archdiocese.
Well, first of all, Brian, we owe you a debt of gratitude. Thank you for the leadership that you've given, not only over 30 years, but certainly the last 12 and a half years that I've been the Archbishop. Brian, I recall, and I know you do too, when I first came and you told me exactly about the tradition we have of strategic planning, and of course, with the work I've done with Catholic Charities, we did a lot of planning. I said, well, let's take a step back. Let's just take a look and see. I know that you felt good about it and the people I talked to, but let's talk to some people in parishes, sure, et cetera. And I have to say that at the priest council meeting and at other venues in which I kind of got a sounding, people, I'll use the word mirror. They said, the strategic plan for the Archdiocese helped us on a parish level to develop our own steps to be taken. Not that we had to be in lockstep in everything, but it gave a framework. And as you know, I was quite involved on a national level with the Bishops' Conference, and I realized, now wait a minute, the same issues on a national level that we're dealing with also mirror what we're doing as well as synod. So I think, by that I mean in Rome. So I think what I have seen has been, not only is it wise to plan very deliberately, to listen so we can take very clear next steps, but it's something that I think is throughout every level of the life of our church.
Yeah, it's really important that you don't plan in a vacuum,
right, but
you plan looking at the wider experience, but also the very particular issues or challenges you're facing. We've been writing the 2020 plan. It's about every 3 or 4 years we do this, and this is the one that you helped particularly guide as you even began for your transition. Will be coming in a few years. So anything that we're going to publish it in just a few weeks. It'll be on the web page. People can read it. But as you think about it, it's something you want to.
I think, Brian, first of all, it flows from the whole process of parish discernment that we've done, and I was very pleased with the engagement of our parishes, and we've heard from people about that.
80 parishes.
That's amazing. And secondly, I think in addition to, I think the time of prayer and worship, the evangelization, the vocation work, the leadership roles, there's a new dimension of being good stewards in administration. How do we especially prepare people to make use of the resources, but also to prepare for future leadership within parishes? And the work you've done with the Lilly Grant has helped us with that. And I think this is putting this in a fashion where throughout the Archdiocese, people will be able to see some unity of our planning.
Yeah, there's 6 goals to the plan, and this one you just referred to, the stewardship or administration goal, was a new one.
Right.
I think there's 95 different action steps. So people get online to see it and so forth.
Well, we're looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be a great addition. Yeah.
Good. Let's talk about some other things.
Sure.
One little sad note locally is unfortunately this spring is the last semester for St. Leonard's School.
Yeah. Anytime a decision is made, and in this case, St. Leonard's School began in 1957. The decision to close the school was, of course, one in which we worked very closely, as you could imagine, and you know, with the pastor as well as both the school principal and advisory board, the parents group, but also I think our work with the parish council. The important thing up and down the line is focus on the good of the student.
Right.
And I think we have done that there, and I want to commend actually the people of St. Leonard for doing that well. So there's been some opportunities where the schools and their families will find a home in being able to continue it, and we hope that St. Leonard will be enriched because of the process we're going through. But you're right, there is a sadness in closing and shifting, and we've had to do that as well as open new places.
Yes, as painful as it is, early signs are the students are finding new homes and connecting well.
I think so. But we need to commend especially the Father Lou and both the principal as well as the parishioners of St. Leonard for that process.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Internationally, is the Holy Father and the Holy See has produced a document referred to as Vos Estis.
Yes.
Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, Vos Estis Lux Mundi. It's you are the light of the world.
Okay.
And as many people know, the church has been riddled with the issue of scandal related to sexual abuse of children and young people. We know that this is unfortunately, sadly present throughout society, but it's especially harming and embarrassing in many ways that the church has to face these things. However, with Christ and His grace at the basis, we need to do this forthrightly. So our Holy Father issued this document, Vos Estis Lux Mundi, that is saying a number of things, but the newest ones, I think, will be make sure that bishops who are accused of doing things, first of all, themselves improperly, that there's some assurance that there's a third party number that someone can call to report it without fear of retribution, that it will be acted upon in a timely way, and also if there has been an intentional mishandling or negligence on the part of a bishop, that also can be reported. There was a sense that back when the charter was done in 2002, that there wasn't as much clarity on how important it is that bishops act in a proper way. So people will be seeing more about it. Probably, if not this month, it'll be in April that they'll see in the record reports about it. But it's an effort that the church is making to ensure protection of young people and children and young adults.
It is such a good expansion on the charter that we move into the addressing this with bishops now, and so I congratulate our Holy Father for helping lead this.
And I'm fully supportive of, as you know, of these efforts.
Good. Thank you for explaining that to us, and thank you to our viewers and listeners for being part of this segment. Stay tuned. After a short break here, we'll come back with segment 2 with 2 special guests.